Okay, one of my favorite things about Nearpod is that you don't really have to create a lesson to use it during your whole group or tier one instruction. What I'm showing you now is I'm just going to create what I usually call it whole group, or I might call it OTR for opportunities to respond. And I'm only going to add one slide because that's all you need to have a Nearpod. And I'm going to leave it blank. Okay. And so that's all I'm going to do. I've created my whole group math Nearpod that I can use for any tier one instruction I'm going to deliver to my students. Okay, next I'm going to share a live session with my students in their Google Classroom. If you're using Canvas, you can share it to Canvas. I like to just share this in their announcements. It's quick and easy. They know, hey, open up Google Classroom and click on today's Nearpod lesson. Students, they're going to see it in their announcements or in their stream. They simply click the link to access the Nearpod. Students, it'll just ask them to type their name, but since I'm a teacher and have a teacher account, it's going to ask me to log into my Google account. So on this screen, students will just see the screen where they're asked to type their name because they don't have their own account. Okay. Once they've typed their name, this is what they see. They're just going to have a blank screen. There's no, if you want to, you can customize your slide to say, look to the teacher. But here it is, that's a student screen. My procedures, I have students close their Chromebooks where I'm giving my direct instruction, my teacher talk, or doing something else. I have them close their Chromebook. And then when I want them to respond to a question or engage in my Nearpod, I just have them open their Chromebook. If their Chromebooks aren't closed for more than a minute, they don't even have to log in again. But if they do need to log in, they just simply enter their password, and as soon as they log back in using their password, their screen goes up to the Nearpod. Okay, and then I can share using the add exercise button. I can share any exercise on the fly. My favorite is to draw it. I keep a folder full of math manipulatives that I might use during a lesson, and I can simply add that image to a draw it and share it out to students. Okay, and then I just ask students, hey students, I want you to open your Chromebooks and answer this question. So they open their Chromebooks. Sometimes there's maybe a 5-second lag. You see their screen's white, and then there's the question right there. And then they can draw on the question, respond however you want them to respond, and submit it. And those answers, those opportunities to respond, every student gets the opportunity to respond to this question. No raising hands, unless you can have them answer as a group, even if you wanted to. You're going to get that response, and it's going to go into your reports. Okay. Also, here's my teacher view. There is now a annotation feature on any slide you create. You can click that button and annotate with a stylus or your finger using your laptop, or on your desktop using your mouse, and students are going to see your annotations in real time. Okay. And again, it's any slide. So if you want to have a series of slides with manipulatives and you're going to ink on them and want students to see your inking on their desks in real time, you can do that. Okay. Now I'm going to go back and edit this lesson a little bit. I'm going to add a slide. Or actually, excuse me, I'm just going to, just like I said before, I'm going to add an element to this that I may want to ink over as a whole group example to my class. I'm just going to add one of those manipulatives to there. And then when I share that with students, they'll see that. And I also have the whiteboard feature where I can annotate and show students how I'd like them to engage in that manipulative. And again, students are seeing those annotations in real time on their screen. Another thing you want to do, there's tons of engaging activities for students to work through. So if you might add some of those engaging elements to your whole group Nearpod, and students you can engage with them with your students. They're going to go through, they're going to see your manipulative. You might add a simulation. So students going to engage in a simulation. And then as you can see in the upper right corner where it says add activity, at any point while students are engaging in these manipulatives or these simulations, you can simply add an activity. You can add an open-ended response. You can add a true or false. You can add the draw it feature like I was mentioning. And so you have, if you're being intentional and planning ahead, you don't have to create slides or content slides. You're just sharing these opportunities to engage with them. And then if you want to, simply navigate back to your plain white screen. Students have a plain white screen, and you also still have the annotation tools, the whiteboard tool that you can use during your whole group instruction. Okay. And like I said, when you're done, it's going to go into the reports for that lesson. Okay. And the cool thing is, it's not just one report. Your reports are separated by date. So you can use that same whole group Nearpod as many times as you need to.